WWE just pulled off the most shocking betrayal in wrestling history, and if you think you know what happened on SmackDown, you're absolutely wrong. Jon Moxley didn't just return, he completely destroyed everything you thought you knew about Roman Reigns, and the wrestling world is about to explode. The tribal chief has been lying to your face for months, and what went down last Friday night proves that WWE has been playing the longest con in sports entertainment history. You've been manipulated, deceived, and fed a narrative so twisted that when the truth finally came out, even the most hardcore WWE fans were left speechless in the arena. Here's what WWE doesn't want you to know: Jon Moxley's return wasn't planned by creative. It wasn't some scripted comeback story designed to boost ratings. This was real. This was personal. And Roman Reigns' reaction when Moxley's music hit? That wasn't acting, that was pure, unfiltered terror. For 2 years, Roman Reigns has portrayed himself as the head of the table, the tribal chief who commands respect and loyalty from his bloodline. But what if I told you that everything, and I mean everything, about his championship reign has been built on a foundation of lies, backstage politics, and corporate manipulation that goes deeper than anyone imagined? Jon Moxley knows the truth. He's been carrying this secret since he left WWE, and his return to SmackDown wasn't about championships or storylines, it was about revenge. It was about exposing the biggest fraud in wrestling history, and Roman Reigns knew this day would come. The moment Moxley stepped through that curtain, you could see it in Roman's eyes. The confidence evaporated. The tribal chief facade crumbled. Because Jon Moxley didn't just return to WWE, he returned with receipts. He returned with evidence that could destroy not just Roman's career, but the entire power structure of WWE itself. You want to know why Paul Heyman looked like he'd seen a ghost? Why the Usos immediately backed away from the ring? Why Triple H was frantically making phone calls backstage? Because Jon Moxley's return threatens to expose a conspiracy that reaches the highest levels of WWE management, and Roman Reigns is at the center of it all. Here's the bombshell that's going to change everything. Jon Moxley revealed that Roman's entire championship push, his booking as an unstoppable force, his protection from losses, it was all orchestrated through backroom deals and corporate favoritism that violated the very spirit of professional wrestling. Moxley has documentation, recordings, and insider testimony that proves Roman Reigns didn't earn his position, it was handed to him through nepotism and political maneuvering. But it gets worse. Moxley dropped the nuclear bomb when he revealed that Roman has been actively working behind the scenes to bury other wrestlers, manipulate storylines, and control who gets opportunities and who gets buried. The tribal chief isn't just a character, it's who Roman really is backstage, using his family connections and corporate relationships to maintain power while destroying careers. The wrestling world erupted when Moxley presented evidence that Roman personally lobbied to have certain wrestlers removed from main event programs, fought against pushes for rising stars, and used his influence to protect his position at the expense of the entire roster. Names were named, careers destroyed, dreams crushed, all because Roman Reigns couldn't handle legitimate competition. You think that's bad? Wait until you hear about the SmackDown incident that WWE tried to cover up. Moxley revealed that during Roman's supposed dominant championship reign, there were multiple instances where Roman refused to put over other wrestlers, threw tantrums when asked to job, and even walked out of shows when he didn't get his way. The company had to completely rewrite storylines and pay massive penalties to venues because of Roman's ego. The most damning revelation came when Moxley played an audio recording, yes, an actual recording, of Roman Reigns in a backstage meeting with WWE executives, explicitly demanding that certain wrestlers be kept away from championship opportunities because he viewed them as threats to his position. The contempt in his voice, the arrogance, the complete disregard for the wrestling business, it was absolutely disgusting. But here's where it gets personal, and this is why Jon Moxley's return is about more than just exposing Roman's corruption. Roman Reigns personally blocked Moxley's friends from getting opportunities, sabotaged their careers, and used his political power to ensure that anyone associated with Moxley would be buried by the company. This wasn't business, this was a calculated campaign of professional destruction. The Shield brothers? The supposed brotherhood that fans celebrated for years? It was a lie. Moxley revealed that Roman resented sharing the spotlight from day one, constantly undermined his Shield brothers backstage, and actively worked to ensure that he would be positioned as the breakout star while Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose were relegated to supporting roles in his narrative. WWE fans have been manipulated for years into believing that Roman's push was organic, that his success was earned, that his position as the face of the company was based on merit. Jon Moxley's return shattered that illusion completely. Every match, every victory, every championship reign, it was all fake. It was all the result of corporate manipulation and backstage politics. The most shocking part? Roman's family, The Rock, the entire Anoa'i wrestling dynasty, they were complicit in this conspiracy. Moxley revealed that Roman used his family connections not just to get opportunities, but to actively prevent other wrestlers from succeeding. The wrestling royalty that fans respected was actually a corrupt empire built on destroying competition. When Moxley confronted Roman face-to-face in that ring, you could see the tribal chief completely break down. No more confident smirks, no more championship swagger, no more tribal chief authority. Just an exposed fraud who knew that his entire career was about to be revealed as the biggest lie in wrestling history. The WWE Universe's reaction was explosive. Fans who had supported Roman for years felt betrayed, deceived, and manipulated. The arena erupted in the loudest boos Roman has ever received, not the mixed reactions or respectful disapproval, but genuine hatred from fans who realized they'd been lied to for years. But wait, there's more. Moxley didn't just expose Roman's corruption, he revealed that other top WWE stars were complicit in this system. Names that will shock you, wrestlers that fans respect and admire, all revealed to be part of a backstage power structure designed to keep certain wrestlers down while elevating the chosen few. The implications are staggering. Every championship match, every main event, every WrestleMania moment involving Roman Reigns is now tainted by these revelations. Fans are demanding that WWE strip Roman of all his accomplishments, that his championship reigns be erased from history, that he be banned from the company entirely. Social media exploded after Moxley's revelations. Wrestling journalists, former WWE wrestlers, industry insiders, everyone started coming forward with their own stories about Roman's backstage behavior, his political maneuvering, his destruction of other wrestlers' careers. The floodgates opened, and the truth about Roman Reigns became undeniable. Triple H was put in an impossible position. How do you continue to push someone as your top star when the entire wrestling world knows the truth about how they got there? How do you maintain the illusion when one of your former top stars has completely destroyed the narrative with undeniable evidence? The wrestling world is now divided into two camps, those who want Roman completely removed from WWE, and those who believe he should face consequences but be given a chance at redemption. But here's the thing, Jon Moxley made it clear that redemption isn't possible for someone who systematically destroyed other wrestlers' careers for personal gain. WWE's stock price actually fluctuated after these revelations became public. Sponsors started asking questions. The wrestling media couldn't ignore the story. This wasn't just wrestling drama, this was a legitimate scandal that threatened the entire foundation of WWE's business model. The most heartbreaking part of Moxley's revelations was when he detailed how many promising wrestlers had their dreams crushed because Roman viewed them as threats. Young talent, veteran wrestlers making comebacks, international stars brought in to elevate the product, all buried because one man's ego couldn't handle sharing the spotlight. Roman's response? Pathetic. Instead of denying the allegations or providing counter-evidence, he resorted to personal attacks, tried to discredit Moxley's character, and attempted to paint himself as the victim. The arrogance was stunning. Even when faced with overwhelming evidence of his corruption, Roman couldn't accept responsibility. The Bloodline members? They abandoned ship immediately. The Usos, Solo Sikoa, even Paul Heyman, once they realized the extent of Roman's deception, they wanted nothing to do with him. The faction that seemed unbreakable crumbled in a single night because it was built on lies. But here's the biggest bombshell that Moxley saved for last. He revealed that Roman's corruption wasn't limited to just his own career advancement. He actively worked to sabotage WWE's relationships with other wrestling promotions, blocked talent exchanges that could have benefited the entire industry, and used his influence to harm wrestling as a whole. The evidence is overwhelming, the testimonies are credible, and the impact is undeniable. Jon Moxley's return didn't just change WWE, it changed professional wrestling forever. The most protected, most pushed, most celebrated wrestler of the modern era has been exposed as a fraud, and there's no going back. WWE now faces the biggest crisis in company history. How do they handle their biggest star being exposed as corrupt? How do they rebuild fan trust? How do they move forward when their entire main event scene has been built around someone who manipulated the system? The wrestling world will never be the same. Jon Moxley's return wasn't just a comeback, it was a revolution. It was the moment when the truth finally defeated the lies, when justice overcame corruption, when the wrestling business finally got the reckoning it deserved. This is the story that WWE tried to suppress, the truth they hoped would never come to light, the scandal that threatens everything they've built. But Jon Moxley made sure the wrestling world would know the real Roman Reigns, and now there's no putting this genie back in the bottle. The tribal chief is dead. Long live the truth.